Chapter 1. The Unearthly Melody. The small town of Crestfall was known for its tranquility. Nestled between dense forests and rolling hills, little did its residents know a sinister rhythm echoed through the quiet streets, a melody that bore an otherworldly secret. Meet Emily Harper, a music prodigy with a penchant for the unusual. Her fascination with the occult led her to a dusty antique shop on the outskirts of town. There, hidden among forgotten trinkets, she discovered an ancient sheet of music titled The Symphony of Shadows. As Emily played the eerie composition on her grand piano, the room seemed to come alive with unseen vibrations. A strange energy emanated from the notes, wrapping the young musician in an invisible shroud. Unbeknownst to her, the rhythm she unleashed had a dark history, a curse that gripped Crestfall for generations. Night after night, as Emily practiced the haunting melody, residents of Crestfall reported peculiar occurrences. Whispers danced through the wind, and shadows seemed to take on a life of their own. The once peaceful town became a stage for an unsettling performance orchestrated by forces beyond comprehension. Emily, absorbed in her music, failed to notice the gradual change in atmosphere. The townsfolk grew restless, plagued by nightmares and an unexplainable sense of dread. Even the animals of Crestfall exhibited signs of distress, their rhythmic movements echoing the unnatural cadence that now permeated the air. One evening, as Emily played the final notes of the Symphony of Shadows, a spectral figure materialized in the corner of her room. A ghostly conductor, wielding an ethereal baton, led a phantom orchestra in harmony with Emily's piano. The room pulsed with an otherworldly energy, and the boundary between the living and the dead blurred. As the last chord resonated, Emily felt a chill crawl down her spine. The ghostly conductor turned to her, eyes devoid of warmth, and mouthed words lost to time. The curse had chosen its new vessel. Unaware of the malevolent force she had unleashed, Emily continued her nightly performances, unknowingly amplifying the spectral symphony that gripped Crestfall. The once idyllic town now vibrated with an ominous rhythm, a prelude to the dark crescendo that awaited those who dared to listen. Chapter 2. The Unveiling History. The antique store owner, Mr. Blackwell, watched with a mixture of curiosity and concern as Emily purchased the ancient sheet music. He knew all too well the power contained within those faded notes, having witnessed its effects on previous owners. As Emily delved into the history of the Symphony of Shadows, she discovered a tale of forbidden love and betrayal that unfolded centuries ago. The Cursed Painting, an eerie masterpiece by a tormented artist, depicted the tragic end of two souls forever bound by a malevolent force. Late into the night, Emily's fingers traced the delicate lines of the painting's frame, uncovering hidden symbols and cryptic messages. The more she learned, the more the room seemed to close in on her, and the air grew thick with an unseen presence. She stumbled upon a weathered journal, its pages filled with the desperate scribblings of the long-forgotten artist. The once vibrant strokes of creativity turned into erratic lines of madness as the artist chronicled the curse's descent upon their life. The cursed lovers, Isabella and Sebastian, were condemned to eternally reenact their tragic demise within the confines of the painting. The malevolent force thrived on the anguish and despair of those who dared to delve into their haunting story. As Emily continued her research, strange occurrences became a nightly ritual. Whispers echoed through the room, and shadows seemed to dance in tandem with the mournful notes she played. Crestfall, once an idyllic haven, now bore witness to the unraveling of a cursed tapestry. The townsfolk, oblivious to the dark undercurrents, felt an inexplicable unease settle upon Crestfall. Nightmares haunted their sleep, and even the town's animals exhibited behavior that mirrored the ominous rhythm emanating from Emily's piano. Mr. Blackwell, fearing the impending doom that clung to the cursed painting, approached Emily with a warning. His eyes bore the weight of generations haunted by the cursed melody, and he pleaded with her to break the cycle before it consumed the town. But Emily, entranced by the macabre allure of the cursed painting, remained resolute. The malevolent force had chosen her as its vessel, and she would be the unwitting conductor of Crestfall's descent into darkness. As the night wore on, Emily played the haunting melody once more, each note a symphony of sorrow that echoed through the town, sealing their fate in the shadows of an unforgiving curse. Chapter 3. The Living Canvas. As the haunted melody continued to weave its spectral tapestry through Crestfall, Emily's studio became a sanctuary for the supernatural. The cursed painting, now a gateway to the ethereal realm, pulsed with an unholy energy. Every stroke of Emily's fingers across the piano keys seemed to breathe life into the trapped souls within the painting. Isabella and Sebastian, the ill-fated lovers, exhibited a spectrum of emotions, their painted eyes mirroring the torment of their eternal imprisonment. One evening, as Emily lost herself in the melancholic composition, the room darkened, and a cold wind whispered through unseen corridors. Isabella's painted gaze shifted, locking eyes with Emily. A spectral hand reached out from the canvas, sending shivers down the artist's spine. The piano keys took on a life of their own, as if guided by an invisible force. The melody warped and twisted, mirroring the anguish of the cursed souls. The room trembled, and shadows detached themselves from the walls, dancing in macabre unison. Emily, caught in the grip of the supernatural symphony, felt the boundary between the living and the painted blur. The air crackled with an otherworldly resonance as the cursed painting exerted its influence over her senses. Night after night, Emily found herself compelled to unravel the mysteries within the haunted canvas. The lovers' expressions shifted from despair to rage, and their silent pleas for release echoed in the stillness of the studio. Unseen hands seemed to caress the keys alongside Emily's, merging the living and the painted in a dissonant harmony. The townsfolk, now fully aware of the malevolent force that gripped Crestfall, avoided Emily's studio like a plague. They spoke in hushed tones of the spectral orchestra that haunted the night, its mournful melody a harbinger of doom. Desperation crept into the once tranquil town. Those who dared to confront Emily found themselves ensnared in the spectral dance, their movements dictated by the cursed rhythm. Crestfall had become a puppet in the hands of an unseen conductor, and the macabre performance showed no signs of reaching its crescendo. In the heart of the studio, Emily wrestled with the increasing darkness. The cursed painting, now a portal to a realm beyond comprehension, held the key to breaking the cycle. But to free Isabella and Sebastian, Emily would have to confront the malevolent force that had chosen her as its unwitting vessel. As the studio walls reverberated with the echoes of a tormented love story, Emily steeled herself for the nightmarish journey that awaited an odyssey into the painted abyss, where the line between creator and creation, living and spectral, would blur into a chilling and irreversible fusion. Chapter 4. Paranormal Investigations. Emily's determination to unravel the mysteries surrounding the cursed painting led her to seek the assistance of a seasoned paranormal investigator, Professor Samuel Hawthorne. Armed with a wealth of knowledge about the supernatural, Hawthorne arrived in Crestfall with an air of skepticism that masked a deeper understanding of the occult. In Emily's dimly lit studio, Professor Hawthorne set up an array of instruments designed to detect paranormal activity. His sharp eyes studied every inch of the room, recognizing the telltale signs of an otherworldly presence. The air seemed to crackle with energy as he traced his fingers over the surface of the haunted canvas. The investigator's gaze shifted between the spectral lovers, Isabella and Sebastian, and the piano where Emily had unknowingly become the conduit for the malevolent force. His fingers brushed over the keys, sensing the residue of an unnatural power that lingered within the music. As night fell, Professor Hawthorne initiated a seance, calling upon the spirits trapped within the cursed painting. The room darkened further, and the temperature dropped, creating an atmosphere charged with anticipation. Whispers filled the air, revealing fragments of the tragic love story that bound Isabella and Sebastian to their painted prison. Unseen forces tugged at the investigator's clothing as he delved deeper into the paranormal tapestry woven around Crestfall. The malevolent rhythm manifested itself, causing the investigator's instruments to flicker and dance in response to the supernatural energies. In the midst of the seance, a ghostly figure materialized, an ethereal silhouette of the tormented artist who had created the cursed painting centuries ago. The investigator, unfazed, engaged in a silent exchange with the apparition, deciphering the cryptic messages embedded in the strokes of the spectral brush. As the investigator and the ghostly artist communicated, Emily, wide-eyed and breathless, witnessed the unraveling of secrets that had been buried within the haunted canvas. The malevolent force had fed on the unresolved emotions of Isabella and Sebastian, trapping them in a perpetual dance of agony and despair. Professor Hawthorne, realizing the gravity of the situation, advised Emily on the perilous path she had chosen. To break the curse, she would need to confront the malevolent force head-on and navigate the treacherous realm beyond the painted surface. With newfound knowledge and a sense of urgency, Emily and the investigator prepared for a journey into the heart of the supernatural abyss, a daring exploration that would pit them against the very essence of the cursed rhythm and the tormented souls it ensnared. As the investigator donned protective charms and prepared incantations, the studio quivered with anticipation, signaling the beginning of a perilous expedition into the unknown, a realm where the living and the spectral converged in a dance of shadows and echoes. Chapter 5. Malevolent Manifestations. The night of the paranormal investigation arrived, casting an eerie glow over Crestfall. Professor Hawthorne and Emily, armed with ancient incantations and protective relics, entered the studio prepared to confront the malevolent force that held the town in its spectral grip. As they began their ritual, the air thickened with tension and the temperature plummeted. The cursed painting seemed to pulse in response, its ethereal inhabitants awakening to the intrusion of the living. Isabella and Sebastian's painted eyes glowed with a haunting luminescence, mirroring the intensity of the malevolent rhythm. Professor Hawthorne's incantations reverberated through the room, forming a barrier against the spectral forces. Yet, with each uttered word, the malevolent rhythm fought back, causing the protective charms to flicker as if resisting the intrusion. Shadows detached themselves from the walls, coalescing into twisted forms that circled the investigator and Emily. The ghostly conductor from the painting materialized, a skeletal figure with hollow eyes that bore into their souls. The room echoed with dissonant whispers, a chorus of tormented spirits trapped within the cursed symphony. Emily's fingers hovered over the piano keys, ready to confront the malevolent force head-on. The professor, his resolve unyielding, chanted ancient verses aimed at weakening the spectral orchestra's grip on Crestfall. As the investigator's incantations intensified, the malevolent force retaliated. Unseen hands gripped their shoulders, and a cold wind swept through the room, extinguishing candles and plunging the studio into darkness. Isabella and Sebastian's expressions twisted into grotesque masks of agony as the cursed rhythm fought to maintain its dominance. In the face of the supernatural onslaught, Emily summoned every ounce of courage. Her fingers struck the keys with a determination that matched the force opposing them. The dissonant melody wavered, caught between the dueling energies. Suddenly, a blinding light enveloped the room. The investigator, channeling the ancient power of the protective relics, unleashed a surge of energy that pushed back the malevolent force. The ghostly conductor recoiled, and the twisted forms dissipated into the shadows. For a fleeting moment, Crestfall was free from the suffocating grip of the cursed rhythm. The investigator's chants echoed into the spectral abyss, disrupting the harmony that had ensnared the town for centuries. Yet, victory was short-lived. As the investigator and Emily caught their breath, the malevolent force regrouped, its echoes reverberating with an ominous promise. The studio walls seemed to close in, and the ethereal figures within the cursed painting glared with newfound malevolence. The investigator's stern expression hinted at the realization that breaking the curse would require an even more perilous journey, one that delved into the very heart of the supernatural realm, where the origins of the malevolent force awaited discovery. As the investigator prepared to guide Emily into the spectral abyss, the studio's atmosphere hummed with uncertainty. The malevolent force, wounded but far from defeated, lingered in the shadows, biding its time for the impending confrontation that would determine the fate of Crestfall. Chapter 6. Desperate Measures. The investigator and Emily, now aware of the formidable adversary they faced, prepared to delve deeper into the supernatural abyss. The studio, a battleground between the living and the spectral, pulsated with an unsettling energy. In the dim glow of candlelight, the investigator donned an ancient amulet, a relic set to provide protection against the malevolent forces that lurked within the spectral realm. Emily, her fingers trembling, clutched a tattered grimoire containing incantations that promised to unveil the secrets of the cursed symphony. As the investigator traced protective runes across the studio floor, the atmosphere thickened with anticipation. The cursed painting seemed to watch their every move, its subjects' painted eyes reflecting a blend of desperation and malice. With the incantations echoing through the room, a portal flickered into existence, a gateway to a realm where the malevolent rhythm held dominion. The investigator, his gaze unwavering, motioned for Emily to step forward into the unknown. As they crossed the threshold, the studio transformed, reality twisted and contorted, giving way to a dreamscape where shadows danced with malevolence. The spectral orchestra materialized around them, its haunting melody resonating through the otherworldly expanse. Isabella and Sebastian, now fully animated within the spectral realm, moved in sync with the cursed rhythm. The investigator, undeterred, guided Emily through the surreal landscape, each step resonating with a dissonant harmony. The malevolent force, sensing their intrusion, manifested as a swirling vortex of shadows, a sentient entity fueled by centuries of sorrow and despair. It spoke in whispers, taunting the intruders with the futility of their quest. Emily, her resolve unwavering, began to play the cursed melody on an otherworldly piano that materialized before her. The investigator chanted protective verses, creating a barrier against the encroaching shadows. The spectral orchestra, now a nightmarish ensemble, swayed in rhythm with the haunting notes. As Emily played, memories of Isabella and Sebastian's tragic love story unfolded. The investigator deciphered the cryptic symbols within the spectral realm, piecing together the origins of the malevolent force that had plagued Crestfall. The portal flickered, threatening to collapse under the strain of the malevolent force's resistance. The investigator, his voice steady despite the encroaching darkness, urged Emily to press on to unravel the tangled threads of the curse and bring an end to the spectral symphony. The studio back in Crestfall trembled with an unnatural energy as the investigator and Emily delved deeper into the spectral abyss. The fate of the cursed town hung in the balance as the malevolent force prepared to unleash its final, desperate measures in a bid to maintain its spectral dominion. Chapter 7. Confronting the Spirits. In the heart of the spectral abyss, Emily and the investigator navigated a surreal dreamscape that mirrored the tortured history of Isabella and Sebastian. The malevolent force, a swirling tempest of shadows, unleashed a torrent of whispers that echoed through the otherworldly expanse. As Emily played the cursed melody on the ethereal piano, the spectral orchestra danced with increasing fervor. Isabella and Sebastian, bound by the curse, moved in tandem with the haunting rhythm, their expressions shifting from agony to fury. The investigator, armed with ancient knowledge and a protective amulet, forged a path through the spectral realm. He deciphered the cryptic symbols that adorned the walls, each revealing a fragment of the curse's original tale of betrayal, unrequited love, and a malevolent pact that transcended the boundaries of life and death. In the midst of the spectral symphony, the ghostly conductor emerged, a skeletal figure with hollow eyes that bore into the intruders' souls. The investigator, undeterred, engaged in a silent dialogue with the conductor, unraveling the malevolent force's hold on Isabella and Sebastian. As Emily continued to play, the investigator's incantations reached a crescendo. A surge of ancient power rippled through the spectral abyss, pushing back the malevolent force. The swirling tempest recoiled, revealing glimpses of a long-forgotten chambirth epicenter of the curse. With each resounding note, the investigator and Emily advanced toward the heart of the spectral realm. The air crackled with unseen energies as the malevolent force fought, to maintain its dominion, summoning shadows to thwart the intruder's progress. As they reached the chamber's threshold, the malevolent force unleashed its final defensive manifestation of the tormented spirits that lingered within the spectral abyss. Faces contorted with anguish materialized, surrounding Emily and the investigator in a nightmarish chorus. The investigator, drawing on the protective properties of the amulet, erected a barrier against the vengeful spirits. Emily, her fingers never ceasing their haunting melody, felt the weight of the curse intensify with each passing moment. In the heart of the chamber, a mural depicted the tragic love story of Isabella and Sebastian. The investigator, with a solemn understanding, revealed the key to breaking the Cursia sacrifice that would sever the malevolent force's grip on Crestfall. With a heavy heart, Emily ceased playing. The investigator recited the final incantations, channeling the essence of the cursed love story into a Vesselan offering that would appease the malevolent force and free the tormented spirits. As the sacrifice unfolded, the spectral orchestra fell silent. Isabella and Sebastian's painted expressions softened, and the ghostly conductor dissipated into the shadows. The malevolent force, its power broken, retreated into the depths of the spectral abyss. The investigator and Emily, drained but triumphant, emerged from the otherworldly realm. The studio in Crestfall trembled as the spectral vortex collapsed, sealing the malevolent force within its ethereal prison. Crestfall, liberated from the suffocating grip of the cursed rhythm, sighed with relief. The investigator, somber yet resolute, explained that the sacrifice had been a necessary means to break the malevolent force's hold on the town. As the investigator departed, leaving Crestfall to heal from the supernatural ordeal, Emily, burdened by the weight of the sacrifice, gazed at the now silent cursed painting. The haunted canvas seemed to hold the echoes of Isabella and Sebastian's final, releasey, bittersweet resolution to a centuries-old curse. Chapter 8. The Unraveling Truth. With the malevolent force vanquished and the spectral abyss sealed, Crestfall emerged from the clutches of the cursed rhythm. The town, once shrouded in an unnatural darkness, basked in the tentative light of a new beginning. The haunted painting, now void of the malevolent force's influence, remained a silent witness to centuries of torment. Isabella and Sebastian's painted figures appeared serene, their expressions freed from the perpetual agony that had defined them for so long. Emily, haunted by the sacrifice made to break the curse, found solace in the newfound tranquility of Crestfall. The investigator's words lingered in her thoughts. Sacrifice, though painful, had been the key to severing the malevolent force's hold on the town. As life gradually returned to normal in Crestfall, the townsfolk carried the weight of the recent supernatural ordeal. Whispers of the cursed symphony became a distant memory, replaced by cautious optimism that the darkness that had gripped their town had finally subsided. The haunted painting, now devoid of its malevolent energy, found a new home in a local museum. The curator, unaware of its dark past, marveled at the intricate details of the centuries-old masterpiece. Little did they know the silent echoes of Isabella and Sebastian's tragedy still lingered within the paint. Emily, unable to shake the memories of the spectral abyss, revisited the studio where the malevolent force had been confronted. The cursed melody, once a source of torment, now echoed in her mind as a haunting lullaby, a reminder of the sacrifices made to free Crestfall from its supernatural shackles. The investigator, having completed his task, left Crestfall with a sense of closure. The ancient amulet, now devoid of its protective charge, served as a reminder of the battles fought within the spectral abyss. In the aftermath of the supernatural turmoil, Crestfall began to heal. Nightmares that had plagued the townsfolk subsided, and the once uneasy atmosphere gradually transformed into one of cautious peace. As Emily walked through the now quiet streets of Crestfall, she couldn't escape the feeling that the malevolent force, though vanquished, had left an indelible mark on the town. The haunted paintings no home served as a fragile sanctuary for Isabella and Sebastian's spirits, a delicate balance between liberation and eternal remembrance. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the tranquil town. As Emily gazed at the fading light, she pondered the mysteries of the supernatural forces that had gripped Crestfall. The malevolent rhythm, once an inescapable nightmare, now existed only in the whispers of the past. A ghostly melody had finally found its resolution. As the last echoes of the cursed symphony dissolve into the night, Emily, burdened by the memories of the spectral abyss, embraced the quietude that had returned to Crestfall town, forever marked by the unraveling truth hidden within the haunting rhythm. Chapter 9. Aftermath. Crestfall, once ensnared by the malevolent force of the cursed rhythm, emerged from the shadows with a fragile sense of normalcy. The townsfolk, scarred by the supernatural ordeal, tentatively embraced the newfound calm that had settled over their once troubled home. The haunted painting, now housed in the local museum, became a curious artifact and enigma of history that captivated visitors. Unbeknownst to them, the silent specters of Isabella and Sebastian's tragic love story remained, embedded within the strokes of the centuries-old masterpiece. Emily, haunted by the memories of the spectral abyss, tried to reclaim a sense of normalcy in the wake of the supernatural turmoil. The studio, once a battleground between the living and the spectral, now stood as a testament to the resilience of Crestfall and the sacrifices made to break the curse. The investigator, having completed his task, left Crestfall with a sense of closure. The ancient amulet, now an inert relic, remained tucked away, a symbolic token of the battles fought within the spectral abyss and the triumph over the malevolent force. As the days turned into weeks, Crestfall's wounds began to heal. The nightmares that had plagued the townsfolk gradually faded, replaced by a cautious optimism that the town had finally escaped the clutches of the supernatural. The townspeople, though scarred by the recent events, found solace in the return of tranquility. Life resumed its normal rhythm, and the once ominous atmosphere gave way to a more hopeful future. Emily, still carrying the weight of the sacrifice made to break the curse, sought closure in the quiet moments of Crestfall. The cursed melody, once a source of torment, now echoed in her mind as a haunting lullaby, a reminder of the sacrifices made for the town's liberation. As Emily walked through the now quiet streets, she couldn't help but feel a sense of both loss and redemption. The haunted paintings no home served as a delicate balancia, sanctuary for Isabella and Sebastian's spirits, forever intertwined with the town's history. The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows over the tranquil town. As Emily gazed at the fading light, she pondered the mysteries of the supernatural forces that had gripped Crestfall. The malevolent rhythm, once an inescapable nightmare, now existed only in the whispers of the past. A ghostly melody had finally found its resolution. Crestfall, marked by the unraveling truth hidden within the haunting rhythm, moved forward. The once tormented town embraced the delicate balance between liberation and remembrance, forever shaped by the echoes of a supernatural tale that had tested the limits of both the living and the spectral. And as the night settled over Crestfall, the haunted painting in the museum seemed to come alive with a quiet energy, a silent acknowledgement of the enduring legacy that lingered within its painted depths. The story of the cursed rhythm had reached its conclusion, leaving behind a town forever changed by the interplay of darkness and redemption. An enduring tale whispered through the corridors of Crestfall's history,